I'd like to welcome everyone to this Learn at Work webinar, sponsored by the journal Work. I'm Karen Jacobs, the founding editor of Work, and I'm eternally grateful to iOS Press for supporting our webinar series. I'm going to now turn it over to our speaker, who will introduce himself.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar entitled A Perspective on Occupational Therapy and Assistive Technology, Research, Contributions, Challenges, and Global Initiatives. This is Hassan Sarsak. I'm an occupational therapist. At first, I would like to give my best thanks and appreciation to the Works Journal Editor-in-Chief, Dr. Karen Jacobs, for conducting such thought-provoking Learn at Work seminar series. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I would like also to thank the WFOT Bulletin for their special call for papers about occupational therapy and assistive technology back in November 2022. It has been a great opportunity to showcase our project. I would like also to thank all project contributors. I would like to thank the International Society of Wheelchair Professionals, ISWP, and the School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences at the University of Pittsburgh for their contributions. So this is going to be the outline for my presentation of today. So this project started in November 2022, and we were able to publish this white paper after 6 months at the WFOT Bullet Special Issue about occupational therapy and assistive technology. We recruited an international group of volunteers to help with developing this white paper with one representative from different regions. The role of volunteers involved providing input to ensure that this research-based report reflects a global perspective. We had volunteers from North and South America, from Europe, Asia, and Africa. In the coming slides, I'm going to talk about special topics related to assistive technology, AT, and I'm going to start with what is assistive technology, AT. So these are some examples of assistive technology devices, which I'm going to refer to from now on as ATDs. So assistive technology, AT, is any item, piece of or equipment or product system, whether acquired commercially off the shelf, modified or customized, that is used to increase or improve functional capabilities of individuals with disabilities. Access to AT is a human right and a prerequisite for equal participation and opportunities. Governments and institutions are responsible for ensuring that their citizens have access to safe, effective, and affordable AT. The Global Joint Report on AT conducted by WHO and the UNICEF has revealed that more than 2.5 billion people need one or more ATD, such as wheelchairs, hearing aids, or apps that support communication and cognition. So according to this global report, by 2050, this number will reach 3.5 billion. However, nearly 1 billion are denied access, particularly in low and middle income countries, where access can be as low as 3% only of the need for these life-changing products. So we know that we have both the standalone low technologies, which are simple, don't require any specific training, and relatively cheap. On the other side, we have the integrated high technologies that are more complex, require special training, and mostly they are time consuming and really expensive. So the question is, which one to use, the low technology or the high technology devices? So the answer to this question is actually what we call the elimination process, where we provide clients with different options of AT devices, starting from the lowest technologies, going up into the hierarchy, to the highest assistive technology devices. And I'm showing here just one exemplar of assistive technology devices for seating and mobility, where we start at the bottom of the hierarchy with the simplest form of AT devices, which are the walking aids, and we move up in the hierarchy based on the client's needs, goals, and priorities, reaching to manual wheelchairs or the push-rim activated power wheelchairs, the POWs, or the power-operated vehicles, scooters, until we reach up in the hierarchy to the power wheelchairs, which are the most complex. We have also to make our clients aware of the options they have out there. So we have to make them aware and educate them about both commercially available assistive technology devices in comparison to the custom modified assistive technologies. So there have been different primary models for assistive technology devices. One of the most famous and well-known, helpful and effective model is the HAT model. In the HAT model, we have different components, which are activity, human, context, that integrate all together with assistive technology devices. The integration of those different components help us and lead to more effective, appropriate clinical decision making when it comes to prescription and the usage of assistive technology devices. A more recent model of assistive technology was the FAT model, which was developed by Dr. Cooper from the University of Pittsburgh, in which he incorporated a fourth dimension of policy. In this model, he wanted to reflect the importance and influence of policy that has on the assistive technology services and assistive technology provision. So both HAT and FAT models follow a similar conceptual framework as in the ICF. As we know, in the ICF, body functions and structures, activities, and participation interact with each other along with other contextual factors to lead to either functioning or disability. The ICF focuses on both environmental and personal factors. For the assistive technology, we always put it under the category or classification of environmental factors. So what is assistive technology service? Assistive technology service assists in selection, acquisition, and/or use of an AT device. The AT service delivery team is a multidisciplinary team. As you can see, it contains and must contain different professionals from different disciplines. However, the most important element and team member of this team is consumer. The consumers should be always the focus and center of the multidisciplinary AT team. And per the WHO 4 steps for safe and effective provision of assistive products, we should always follow this sequence in terms of AT provision and services, which are, we should always start with selecting the product, followed by fitting this product, using the product, and finally following up with the client in terms of basic repairs and maintenance, and if any issues come up throughout the process. So we should always balance AT function and aesthetics. As we all know, function is an essential concept of rehabilitation. The aesthetics or AT design is also important and could shed light on different powerful messages related to cultural perspectives and even personal preferences. So balancing both AT function and AT design is really important, as both are important and complement each other. Moving forward with the 3 F's of AT, which are form, function, and fashion, is really imperative and crucial. I'm going to talk in the next coming slides about some of global initiatives that have been there in terms of AT provision and services, and they've been really making a huge difference in lives of millions of people and persons with disabilities. So if we go back in 2014, the WHO developed the Global Cooperation on Assistive Technology GATE program. The purpose of this program was actually to realize the obligations of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and to improve access to high quality, affordable AT for people with varying disabilities, diseases, and age-related conditions. The WHO introduced within this program the Priority Assistive Products List, which stands for APL. So this APL list included 50 priority assistive products, which were of course selected based on the need and impact of on person's life. Here is the link to direct link to the list if you want to have a look at. Then the ISWB was launched in February 2015 with a mission to serve as a global resource for wheelchair service standards and provision through advocacy, education, evidence-based practice, innovation, and platform for information exchange. The ISW then developed the Wheelchair International Network, WIN, that helps in information exchange and serves as a communication platform for wheelchair users and professionals to network with each other. Later on in 2017, the WFOT conducted a global survey across occupational therapists to map the status of access and use of AT products compiled by the GATE and to identify barriers and facilitators to AT access in local and global contexts. So this study shed light on different AT-related challenges, such as but not limited to lack of awareness, lack of multi-professional services, poor availability of appropriate training, environment that is not accessible, lack of accessible information, lack of supportive services, and lack of time. Also, this survey highlighted some common misconceptions related to assistive technology, such as AT is always complicated and expensive, persons with the same disability benefit from the same devices, a person's AT requirements need to be assessed just once, and AT is a luxury. Also in this study, they focused on some facilitators that help avoid abandonment, which were based on and derived from the 17 consumer-based criteria for evaluation of assistive devices, which are affordability, compatibility, dependability, durability, ease of assembly and maintenance, in addition to some other really crucial and important criteria, such as effectiveness, flexibility of the AT devices, personal acceptability, portability, and supplier repairability. Hosted by United Nations Office of Project Services, AT-Scale, the global partnership for assistive technology, was then launched in 2018 by a diverse forming committee comprised of 11 organizations to overcome the significant gap in access to appropriate high quality and affordable AT globally. AT-Scale's goal was to reach 500 million more people with life-changing AT devices by 2030 to enable a lifetime of potential. Later on in 2018, the ISWB launched the Seating and Mobility Academic Resource Toolkit, which is known as SMART. The SMART has been really comprehensive, multi-language wheelchair educational online open access global resource that supports educators at a variety of clinical and academic institutions worldwide. In 2022, the ISWB launched the Wheelchair Educators Package, WEB. The purpose was to empower educators and educational institutions and enhance their current wheelchair service provision content. WEB is considered as a key component of comprehensive wheelchair education and training globally. Along with the WHO training packages, Web has proved to be helpful and effective, and Web has reported successful learning experience and has brought really unique information to guide wheel mobility and seating interventions worldwide. Again, in 2022, in fulfilling and aiming to improve access to AT, the WHO UNICEF Global Report on Assistive Technology, which is known as GREAT, was developed. The purpose was to present a comprehensive data set and analysis of current AT access, draw attention of governments and civil societies to the need for and benefit of AT, make recommendations for concrete actions that will improve access, and support implementation of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. WHO has recently launched an online training in assistive products, which is known as TAB tool, to support countries to respond to the recommendations in the Global Report on Assistive Technology. TAB is designed to prepare primary health and other personnel to fulfill an OT role. This may include, but not limited to, identifying people who may benefit from AT, providing simple assistive products, and including range of assistive products to support, such as, but not limited to, cognition, communication, vision, hearing, self-care, and mobility-related technologies from WHO's priority APL. So in the next coming slides, I'm going to talk some really fruitful collaborative global partnerships among different global organizations. So in response to the need of competent wheelchair professionals and to enhance the quality of service delivery to wheelchair users, in 2015 until 2017, standardized training packages were developed by a team of experts around the world by the WHO in collaboration with the USAID. In 2022, to contribute towards achieving sustainable development goals and making universal health coverage inclusive, leaving no one behind, the WHO, in collaboration with the UNICEF, developed the GREAT in addition to the AT Advocate Network. The WHO reported that in order to improve the AT system, it requires the development and support of different facilitating components that complement each other. In this slide, I'm showing a snapshot of key facilitative components for effective assistive technology provision. These components are products, provision, personnel, and policy. And as you can see, there are some key strategies to help at least maintain or improve those different really important components. The WHO, at a later stage, in collaboration with the International Society of Prosthesis and Orthotics and the ISWB, have recently announced the release of the new WHO Wheelchair Provision Guidelines, following their launch at the ISPO World Congress in April. These guidelines provide comprehensive and evidence-based framework for wheelchair provision, focusing on improving accessibility, training needs, quality, and equity for persons with mobility impairments. They represent a significant milestone in advancing the rights and well-being of individuals who really rely on wheelchairs for their independence and participation in society. So occupational therapists, OTs, have an integrated perspective of AT in relation to a person's capabilities, function, and environment. OTs actually deploy a wide range of assistive products, giving them an important role in operationalizing the WHO vision of universal sustainable access to appropriate AT and promoting appropriate and affordable access to AT. The WFOT states that the provision of AT is a core competency in the practice of OT. The WFOT also supports the profession to increase equitable access to appropriate assistive technologies in the context of global diversity in many different ways that support the autonomy of the AT user and the central role of the user throughout design, development, access, and the actual implementation of AT. So in 2017, a total of 1,020 OT practitioners responding to the WFOT Global Survey. At the time of the survey, the practice of almost all practitioners included AT. 96% of OT respondents involved in assistive device provision, when asked to report the professionals in their country that facilitate access to AT, identified occupational therapists as the top health profession to provide assistive products, followed with other health professionals included physiotherapists, speech language pathologists, prosthetists, and other wheelchair service providers. This study reported that OTs are involved in the provision of all 50 products included on the GATE Priority Assistive Product list that I talked about earlier. This is a graph shows the most commonly provided assistive products by occupational therapists worldwide. As you can see, they are mostly related to both basic and instrumental activities of daily living, such as toileting, indoor-outdoor mobility related devices such as manual power wheelchairs, some technologies related to environmental modifications such as the grab bars, and some other assistive technology devices related to communication, cognition, and so on. In 2019, the WFOT developed a position statement entitled Occupational Therapy and Assistive Technology. They made it freely available, and it has been translated into different 6 languages. The WFOT wanted to shed light and to focus on the diverse roles of OT and important role of OT they play in assistive technology services and assistive technology provision. And they wanted to support the idea of that inclusion of occupational therapists in the multidisciplinary medical team has proved to be effective, helpful, and useful, and has a positive, significant impact on functional performance of persons with disabilities, and actually improves the integrated planning and the quality services for AT users. So based on the WFOT Global Survey and the WFOT position statement related to AT, we came up with different recommendations to increase access to affordable quality assistive technologies worldwide, such as but not limited to: advocate for access to assistive technology as a fundamental right of persons with disabilities worldwide, to participate in international networks and initiatives offered by professional organizations that address barriers to access, to advocate for the role of OTs in the AT process and the need for training and contextually relevant strategies and supports, to develop collaborative initiatives to understand and address the needs of OTs related to provision of AT and professional development, to also promote social acceptance and safe and sustainable uptake of AT by educating others, and finally, that all healthcare professionals, including OTs, must work collaboratively to ensure that all stakeholders are really informed and empowered to ensure the dignity and inclusion of persons with disabilities in accordance with their human rights. So to wrap up, OTs around the world are among the primary skilled personnel who play a core role as leaders and change agents at the front line of AT provision and advocacy efforts, and can provide unique insight regarding AT access and use across the world. OTs play a major role in overcoming the barriers of access to AT, such as physical barriers and inaccessible environment, stigma, discrimination, lack of accessible information, and lack of supportive policies and services. Assistive technology provision, continuous learning, post-professional training, interprofessional education, financial support, advocacy, and legislation and regulation to monitor quality of AT are all really key factors that help facilitate easy access to affordable and high quality AT services and products. The inclusion of persons who use assistive products helps better understand and meet their needs, and ensures that they can do the things they want to do on an equal basis as others. The development of global collaborative work among professional healthcare organizations is key and helps address the needs of AT users and support advocacy for quality services for people requiring assistive products worldwide. So my take-home message of this presentation, I'm proud to say that occupational therapists always support efforts to build international collaborative partnerships, promote practice based on best available evidence, and encourage professional development in the field of AT worldwide. Calling for advocacy, adopting strategies to overcome barriers and promote quality training and use of AT, developing supportive policies for funding of AT services, contributing to develop. At the end, I would like an imperative. Say that occupational therapy is all about empowering everyday living. We always strive to help our clients live life to its fullest. Also, at the end, I would like to give really special thanks in the name and on behalf of all occupational therapists in the world. We are really grateful for all organizations, such but not limited to the WHO, UNICEF, WFOT, ISWB, USAID, ISPO, and truly thankful for their dedication, commitment, advocacy, priceless efforts, and continuous support of professional development for all healthcare professionals and OTs involved in the AT provision worldwide. We also acknowledge and believe that such global partnerships and collaborative efforts will continue to have a positive, significant impact on the lives of AT users and their families worldwide, who are the first benefactors and the real motivation behind all of this. This is a link to full access to this newly published white paper. And this is the scan code for the complete list of references that we used in this study. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you need more information or if you have any questions. And at the end, I would like to really thank you so much for your time. And I would like again to thank Learn at Work webinar. And I would like to thank the founding Editor-in-Chief, Dr. Karen Jacobs, for her kind invitation and for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to do the round of applause for everybody that's here. I put in the chat box if anybody has any questions to please post them there. I think this is a very, very important article, not published in Work, but published in the World Federation of Occupational Therapists Bulletin. And I'd love you to share what it was like to be putting together such an important paper that will be used globally. You know, how did you start to begin to write something like this?
Yeah, it was actually the ISWB was actually proactive. They actually reached out to me. The director of ISWB, Mr. Alex Camado, he reached out to me as an occupational therapist, and he wanted to collaborate on developing this white paper. When we heard about the call for papers at the WFOT bulletin back in November 2022, that they wanted to launch and publish a special issue about occupational therapy and assistive technology. So it was really a great pleasure to work with ISWB along with Rehabilitation Science and Technology Department at the University of Pittsburgh on this paper. We did develop different drafts at the beginning, and until we reached the consent and approved, I think it was fourth or fifth draft after almost 3 months. We were able to submit it to the WFOT bulletin, and about after 2 months it was accepted, and we were really all happy with the outcome. And once it was published, you know, we did our best to spread the word through digital media and social media platforms to let our voice be heard, you know, by all, you know, by the global population of different organizations. As a thank you, as a special thanks for their great efforts, and also to support and advocate for the rights of persons with disabilities when it comes to AT provision and AT services, especially in low and middle income countries. So it was really a privilege to work on this project, and we are so grateful that we've reached this stage.
Thank you so much for that explanation. And again, it's so important to really identify some of the needs and gaps and shortcomings that we can address so that we're able to serve the people that we work with in a very evidence-based manner. Any last thoughts that you might have before we conclude the webinar? Well, I know I put you on the spot and that you did some takeaways. If there are no other questions or thoughts, I just want to thank you so much for providing this informative presentation that I know others will really enjoy listening to, besides the people who are here during the synchronous presentation. So thank you so very much for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Dr. Jacobs, and I would really like to, you know, invite everyone to utilize and use strategies, recommendations we reported in this white paper, and maybe we could even collaborate on different series of future projects related to AT and occupational therapy. This is an invitation from me to all of you, and this is just the beginning. We are planning to conduct series of, you know, different white papers that support assistive technology provision and the role of occupational therapists of rehab. This important, crucial field. Thank you so much, Dr. of Rehab. Dr. Jacobs, I really appreciate the time and the opportunity. It's been a great honor. Thank you.
Thank you again. And thank you everyone for being at this Learn at Work webinar. Take care.